This is Dr. Michael Greger coming to you live from my treadmill, as I do every month, to answer any and all questions you may have. I was just on Facebook Live at noon today Eastern Time, and now here on YouTube. And we'll do this again next month. Happy Hanukkah, Merry Christmas and Kwanzaa, and Happy New Year. For those of you unfamiliar with my work, every year I read through every issue of every English language nutrition journal in the world, so busy folks like you don't have to. I then compile the most interesting, most groundbreaking, most practical findings into new videos and articles I upload nearly every day to my nonprofit site, NutritionFacts.org. Everything on the website is free. There are no ads, no corporate sponsorships, strictly non-commercial, not selling anything, just putting it up as a public service, as a labor of love, as a tribute to my grandmother, whose own life was saved with evidence-based nutrition. Let us get to your questions. Oh, I like YouTube for this very reason. I don't have to run after scrolling comments. They're all just laid out and just sit there. First question coming from Vacation King and Queen. What's diet for, I assume, what's the best diet for fibromyalgia? Any foods to avoid? All you have to do is type in fibromyalgia and NutritionFacts.org. All sorts of stuff pops up. So, for example, video showing those with fibromyalgia randomized to 2,400 international units of vitamin D a day, for example. Significant improvement in pain scores compared to placebo. In terms of foods, I have videos talking about plant-based diets, both raw and including cooked foods, and their efficacy for fibromyalgia. Check it out on the site. Henny asks, should people with diverticulitis/losis not eat nuts? No, that is false. So there's this thought that people with diverticula, those with little outpouchings from their colon, should avoid things like popcorn and nuts and seeds, because on autopsy, sometimes when people died from diverticulitis, they would find little bits of vegetable matter stuck in those pockets and think, aha, that's what causes inflammation. But no, they became inflamed pockets and stuff just got stuck there afterwards. It was reverse causation. And in fact, people eat lots of fiber-rich foods, including nut seeds, etc., actually have decreased rates of diverticulitis. And we should prevent, and by eating high fiber diets, we can prevent ourselves from getting diverticulosis in the first place, which can then get inflamed and lead to sometimes even life-threatening diverticulitis. And I have a video on that if you want all the citations, of course. Russell Maine asks, love the website, thank you so much. I boast about you all the time, friends and family. I'm finishing a degree in human kinetics. And I'm wondering if you have any suggestions on paths needed in the plant-based movement. This is a wonderful time to be getting into the field, because we need all hands on deck from every possible angle. And so, unfortunately, we are not so mature movement that we have all the bases covered and just have a few little niches that we need people in. We need everybody everywhere to get this life-changing, life-saving information to hands as many people. So basically, what are you good at? What do you enjoy doing? And what do you think will best save the world? And reduce suffering and save the most lives? Well, we already got that. So promoting plant-based diets can go a long way to do that. But do you enjoy teaching? That could certainly be a way. Do you enjoy one-on-ones? Do you enjoy public speaking? What are you good at? What do you enjoy? And use those talents to get the word out. We need good people in the field. Welcome to the club. Sherry Brown asked, does soaking mushrooms in vinegar or pickling mushrooms negate the toxicity in fresh mushrooms just like cooking them does? Nope. The garatine, which is what we're worried about in raw mushrooms, no, I don't believe it would be destroyed by vinegar. So I would just stick to eating cooked mushrooms. Carla Moore asks, I had breast cancer and I'm a postmenopausal estrogen blocker for 10 years. Bone density shows osteoporosis. How can I get enough calcium without taking a supplement? Well, there's a common misconception that osteoporosis is a calcium deficiency disease. You have to obviously get enough calcium and vitamin D and weight-bearing exercise, and there's all sorts of things that go into optimal bone health. We've got a lot of videos on that. I mean, that's what we really care about is improving bone formation. And so you can just type in osteoporosis, NutritionFacts.org, and there's even been certain foods like prunes, I believe, and almonds that may help. But in terms of getting enough calcium, everybody needs to get at least 600 milligrams of calcium. And you do that eating the healthiest source of calcium. In fact, the healthiest source of anything. I mean, the healthiest source of calories, source of food, dark green leafy vegetables. These low oxalate green leafy vegetables, oxalate-rich vegetables like spinach, Swiss chard, and beet greens are just stingy with their calcium. So, but any of the other greens like kale and collards and bok choy and on down the list, packed with highly absorbable calcium and almost every other nutrient you can think of. Miss Tify asks, I'm 70. Sometimes in my workout, I feel weaker. I get a carb and protein snack before a gym, slice of whole wheat bread with either hummus or peanut butter, and that works. Is there any better fix? Hummus and peanut butter sounds good to me. You're making me hungry. Alina Babiakova. Dr. Greger, any thoughts on my upcoming video? Upcoming videos on lipoprotein A. Indeed. So I have a video. Finally, a video on LP(a), which is a cardiovascular risk factor, independent cardiovascular risk factor. So people, even with basically, when you see people who are really healthy, otherwise, like good blood pressures, good cholesterol, everything else, and they drop dead from a heart attack, what? They may that's one of the things you look for. Maybe they genetically had this predisposition to high LP(a), which increases your risk of heart disease. So we knew it was a marker for heart disease, but there wasn't. Well, we thought it was genetics. There's nothing you can do about it. So what's the point? If there's nothing we can do about it, then it's just kind of academic interest. And I like to make my videos practical. Until, ta-da, found something we can do about it. So yes, now that we know we can actually make dietary tweaks to lower our LP(a), well then, boom, there we go. In fact, I believe Dr. Joel Kahn is writing a book on LP(a). Can't wait to read it. But so I have a video coming on LP(a) now that we actually know something we can do about it. And I believe the bottom line, hope I didn't screw this up, is, well, I could look it up, is AMLA, right? Dried Indian gooseberry powder. I'd have to look up the dose. Let me see if I can find that really quick. PVD. Let me see if I can pull it up and just give you more exact. Someone, on the Facebook Live was asking about statin side effects. I got a bunch of videos coming up on that. I think I'm actually going to do a webinar on that. Fasting heart, LDL cholesterol. Oh my God, I got so many videos. See, now I've got so many. So I've had to script a whole year's worth of videos because I'm going on 200 city book tour in about a week. And so I've got a lot of videos, but there's just tons of them. And I know LP(a) is in that batch. Let me see, it's not in there. Then maybe it's in DVDs. It may take me forever. Anyway, there it is. Ta-da! Okay. Found it. Okay. Okay, where are we? So I'm reading through the script as we speak. Okay. Whole food plant-based diet can drop 16%. That's nice. Okay, so we didn't know that until it was put to the test. But then I thought there was a specific. There it is. AMLA. How much was it? The PDF. I'm looking at PDF 28. All right, let me see. So whole food plant-based diet can decrease, and then I believe there was a 20% drop with AMLA. Let me see how much they were giving people. All right, I don't want to take too many people. 250 milligrams. But it was an extract. Yeah. So whole food plant-based diet. If that doesn't work, you could take try taking a quarter teaspoon of dried Indian gooseberries every day, and see if that doesn't drop your LP(a) even further. Okay, where are we? Misty Goldstone says, would I recommend removing the skin off fresh ginger root or turmeric before placing in the skin? Does skin have nutrients? Now, there's not many nutrients in root vegetable skin, so like carrots or whatever. But I mean, there's no reason that you need to worry. I mean, as long as you wash them off, no need to take that extra step. And but if you want to remove them, go for it. Camellia Puffer says, I am not a fan of green tea. Will I still get the benefits if I mix it with some black tea? Sure. So yeah, you can mix green and black tea together and you'll get the benefits of both, but there's more benefit to green tea. So anyway, Kate Fran says, my midwife told me there is something in red meat that stops hemorrhages in labor. Can't find the science. I'm not surprised you can't find the science. I've never heard of such a thing. Is it true? I have no idea. I've never heard of such a thing. But sounds like kind of an old wives' tale kind of thing. But if you find science, let me know. I'll do a video about it. Lenny Gallo says, could you please explain calorie restriction a bit more in depth? Calorie restriction. In your book, you talk about diets plateauing. Do you have to cut calories and maintain the cut? Should we even count calories? No, the whole point is, I mean, the key difference between plant-based nutrition and other more traditional approaches to weight loss is that people are encouraged to eat ad libitum, meaning eat as much as you want, right? No calorie counting, no portion control, just eating. The strategy is to improve the quality of food rather than restrict the quantity of food. And so then you're not hungry. And that's a diet you can actually stick with. Instead, you get a boost in energy and improved digestion and sleep, etc. But you don't know how good you're going to feel until you give it a try. Right. So Elena Babiokova. Oh, we already did. Pilale. Ocean Parkway, 1949, asked, are pre-chopped kale and collard greens susceptible to the same endotoxin concerns as other pre-chopped vegetables? This is someone who's on top of the science because they're watching NutritionFacts.org. Had a recent video about pre-chopped vegetables on how after a couple days, these food spoilage bacteria can build up endotoxin levels and impair some of the anti-inflammatory activity of healthy plant foods. But that was after days. I mean, when I'm talking pre-chopping kale and collard greens, I'm talking 45 minutes to activate that sulforaphane production, not keeping it for days in your fridge. So you don't have to worry about that. But if you're talking about chopping kale like for the week, yeah, it'd be better if you chopped it fresh every day. But look, chopped kale even for a week, it's better than no kale at all. All right, Jen Hayford said, do hydrocortisone shots in raise blood sugar? They certainly can. Is there an alternative? Well, it depends what you're taking them for. Ideally, we should treat the cause. So, yeah, I don't know what you're taking for, so I can't help you. Laura Henderson says, my uncle raised his GFR, his glomerular filtration rate from 18 to 22, going vegan, mostly whole food plant-based. Can he expect to raise it more if he rids his diet of more salt, oil, and sugar? Thank you. So glomerular filtration rate is an indicator of kidney function. Normally, we like to see it over 90, but depending on how old your uncle is, over age 60, it's more like over 60 would be fine. So what can he do about it? Well, he can find out why he's got impaired kidney function. So he should go see a doctor and treat the cause if possible. But indeed, eating a healthy plant-based diet should indeed improve kidney function, as I've shown in a bunch of really fascinating videos. In fact, I even have a video, How Not to Die from Kidney Failure, I think, right? Check it out. And have him keep up the healthy diet. And go see a doctor to see why his kidneys aren't doing well in the first place. Antonia Nwabodo asks, is washing veggies with apple cider vinegar the best way to remove chemicals? No. I have a video on like what's the best fruit and vegetable wash. And so it turns out it was like a 10% salt solution who's best at removing pesticides. But of course, then you got to make sure you get rid of all the salt, because that would be bad. You don't want to have salty fruits and vegetables. But the most important thing is rinsing fruits and vegetables under running water, mostly for decreasing microbiological hazards rather than chemical hazards. All right, Ocean Parker, 1949, is reverse osmosis the best way to ensure quality drinking water? Well, there are problems with reverse osmosis. One, it's very wasteful. Isn't it like 5 gallons of water lost for every gallon you make? You are, like distillation, you're removing the minerals from the water. Now, if you're eating a really healthy diet, you should be getting your minerals that way, but every little bit counts, I guess. I have a video talking about the best way to filter water, and I think just a plain carbon filter should be sufficient. And I rank which ones are best in terms of the brands. Just type in, like, what's the best water or whatever in NutritionFacts.org, pop right up. All right. Antonia again asks, how long can washed spinach be kept in the fridge? Well, I mean, until it goes bad, until it starts turning into vegetable slime. But it shouldn't stay long in the fridge because you're eating your greens every day and you're packing it in, and you're eating healthy. Ian Chabot asked, any update on your Vancouver date in July? There's no link. If there's no linked info, then it hasn't been confirmed yet. Vancouver, July. Let me look at my July dates. Oh, yeah. So this would be on the 24th, July 24th. Yes. And indeed, it is not yet confirmed. So I'm not sure what the issue is in terms of the organizers or whatever. But yeah, so no updates as of yet. Okay. Where were we here? Ocean Parkway, 1949 asks, how can we ensure our source of 250 milligrams of EPA/DHA is high quality and has in it what it says it has in it? Well, I mean, you get third-party testing, but basically it's all the same source, so Martech International, with the exception of the yeast-based DHA. It's all made, I believe, by this one company, so it's just like sold under different brands, so you just go to whatever's cheapest because it's the same stuff. I mean, if you wanted to, you could send it to an independent third-party lab and get it tested. But you raised a very good point that you never know what's in a bottle of supplements because the industry is so poorly regulated. Planted charge, is muscle strength important for good health? Well, resistance exercise is indeed a good thing to do in addition to aerobic exercise. Though it's interesting, I talk about in the book how having a high BMI, regardless of whether it's from muscle or fat, increases your risk of premature death. So I believe like the average lifespan of bodybuilders, those are really bulk up muscles, like 48. But that may be because of the negative effects of anabolic steroids on the cardiovascular system. But so it turns out, so I mean, the reason, BMI, it just says that, doesn't necessarily differentiate between muscle and fat. So something like waist circumference would be better because that's where all that really bad fat is, that visceral fat, that deep belly fat. But it turns out that BMI is actually a better predictor of how long you live than your waist circumference, suggesting that any form of excess weight, whether muscle fat, is not necessarily good for you. Nathan asks, what's the most important factor for building muscle? Resistance exercise. Muscle doesn't just build it. It's like, you lose it, use it or lose it. It's like why your muscles go away when you have your, arm in a cast. That's because you're not using the muscle. And your body's like, why am I maintaining a muscle if you're not even going to use it? Fine, I'll use it for something else. That's why astronauts, for example, can lose 1 or 2% of their bone mass every month because their body's like, look, if you're not going to use your bones, what am I doing? And so you need to send a signal to your body that you're using your muscles, you're using your bones. That's why weight-bearing exercise strengthens your bones, and your muscles get bigger when you exercise. You get these little micro tears. Your body repairs it even stronger. So yeah, you gotta resistance exercises like bands or weights. And your body says, oh my God, you're going to start lifting heavy things. I better build more muscles for you. Mark Hoffman says, what's the optimal range of percentage of body fat for good health? Oh, you got to check that out. I have that in one of the early chapters in section 1 of How Not to Diet. I forget the actual numbers. But there is indeed a good range. It's in How Not to Diet. Go to your local public library. Check it out. Sorry, I just don't remember. Although I could look it up real quick, but I feel bad. I took so much time for that LP segment. But if I get that question again, I'll look it up right here, right now. All right, next question from Anthony again. What would I recommend for someone with heavy menstruation? Ginger, right? I have videos on using ground ginger to reduce one's menstrual flow. And then IBS and thyroid issues. And thyroid issues could mean lots of things. Hypothyroidism, hyperthyroidism. I do have some videos coming up on both Graves' disease and Hashimoto's, which is the most common autoimmune forms of thyroid problems. So stay tuned for that. And I also have a lot of videos already up on IBS, irritable bowel syndrome, and what one can do about it. Ragi El Menaufi asks, I dissolve calcium carbonate in my morning oatmeal to supplement some calcium. Is that fine? I put chalk in my oatmeal. Why are you putting chalk in your oatmeal? Why don't you make some like savory oatmeal with greens and mushrooms and like nutritional yeast and get some greens in there and get your calcium that way. It's always better to get our nutrition from whole foods. Missy D says, do you have any recommendations for diabetic retinopathy and macular degeneration? Damn right I do. In fact, I even have a video on reversing diabetic retinopathy, all going all the way back to Kempner's work at Duke. And for macular degeneration, can be helped with more macular pigment. What is macular pigment? That's lutein zeaxanthin found in dark green leafy vegetables. Eat your greens, and check out my videos on macular degeneration. All right, Roggy again. Any recommendation for a healthy bread? What about sourdough bread? So bread by definition is a yellow light food. Meaning I would encourage people to minimize its consumption. Why? Well, it has added salt. Salt is added in the bread making process. And so we don't want to be adding sodium to our diet. Sourdough bread is better than white bread just because the acids that are created may actually decrease the glycemic index, but not by much. Better to eat intact grains rather than any flour products, ideally. But if you were going to eat bread, then something like Ezekiel bread, some kind of sprouted whole grain bread. Some rye bread is actually made with whole rye berries, like pumpernickel or something. That would be good because then at least you're getting some intact grains into your diet. Mark is back. Do I advise against the use of roasted nut butters? Indeed, I do because of advanced glycation end products, the so-called glycotoxins. It's better to eat raw nuts and seeds as well as raw nut and seed butters. Danielle asks, I will not try to butcher your poor last name. Hello, big fan, very nice. I was recently diagnosed with common variable immune deficiency. Is there any correlation with that in diet? I have never looked into that. Let's pop it into PubMed really quick and see if there's anything on diet popping up. PubMed.org is PubMed is the largest database, the largest medical library in the world. There are 377 articles on that disease and diet, about 300 of which are on human beings, and so it'd be interesting to see what they say. Interesting. Anyway, if there's something juicy here, I will do a video about it. Yes, I would definitely throw through this list, and if there's there's articles you really want to look at and they have some kind of paywall and you can't get access to them, let me know and I will get them for you and email them to you. The next question is, what is the next food, I assume best food, drink to break intermittent fasting? Well, intermittent fasting, by definition, is short term. So it really doesn't matter. It does matter very much where you break a a long-term water-only fast on, because you're basically your body, your gut is actually one of the most metabolically costly tissues in your entire body. And so your body spends huge amounts of energy maintaining your gut. And as soon as you stop eating completely, your body's like, why am I wasting all this energy? And you basically kind of absorb the part of your gut, and your gut becomes inactive. And so then all of a sudden you can't start eating again without running into problems. And of course, there's issues with what's called refeeding syndrome, which can be fatal. That's why you only do long-term water-only fasting under medical supervision with someone that knows what they're doing. Diane Churchill asked, my hair seems to have gotten weaker. What foods can I eat, or taking 500 micrograms of biotin? I don't know. I don't know about taking biotin for weak hair. I don't know of any hair thickening foods. I mean, so something like iron deficiency anemia can lead to hair loss. There's thyroid issues and things. I would go to a dermatologist and say, what's going on with my hair? And they can figure it out. Julid Michello asks, hello, is it possible to eat too much fruit because of the amount of fructose? And essentially the answer is no, right? There's a study I did. In fact, I have a video called like how much fruit is too much. It talks about the study where I gave people like 20 servings of fruit a day and just saw positive benefits. And Dansis asked, to all typing questions out there, the entire chat can be refreshed once the stream starts. Oh, this is just a tip for others, I guess. Travis says, hi. Hello, Travis. Randy Simpson says, please help me eat the right foods to end my hot flashes. Soy food. So if you type in hot flashes or menopause in NutritionFacts.org, I talk about all the research showing that soy foods can reduce hot flashes. In fact, I think in Japan, there is no word for hot flashes because they have the highest soy intake per capita in the world. Bez Nervose says, SIBO? Question mark, exclamation point. I actually have some videos coming up on small intestinal bowel overgrowth syndrome. And I think the first video is like, is there such a thing? Is it like made up like Candida syndrome? And then I talk about all the latest science. I've been looking forward actually to, so I get that question a lot actually. And I was like, haven't looked into it yet. Finally looked into it, have a whole series of videos coming out soon. Stay tuned. APS, I don't take supplements due to reasons of company credibility and product purity. And since ALA conversion is very low, how do I get my RDA of B12 and EPA DHA? You take a B12 supplement or you eat B12 fortified foods. So B12 fortified nutritional yeast, for example, and I've updated my recommendations. So you can go to NutritionFacts.org and find those. It's such an important thing. Let me actually pull that up myself. I remember my, so I just changed my recommendations and I updated. So for supplements, 2,000 micrograms cyanocobalamin once a week or 50 micrograms once a day. And those over 65 years of age should take 1,000 micrograms every day. Or if you're doing fortified foods 3 times a day, so like at each meal containing at least 190% of the daily value listed on the Nutrition Facts label based on the new labeling mandated January 1st. So if you wait a week, then the label, then it should work out 190% of your daily value at each meal. And unfortunately, I have a interview starting, in fact, with Sophia Uliano. I'm really excited to talk to her in less than a minute. So I got to go. Have a wonderful, happy new year. And I will see everyone soon, hopefully in person on my speaking tour.